Welcome in, WinDailySports.com, all sponsored by the Sharp app. Go to sharp.link, and you can check out the Sharp app and go to any of the app stores that you have as well. And also be sure to sign up for Win Daily Gold membership and the promo code Double Up. Buy one, get one free. That promo code is in the description as well. We're going over some Showdown Monday night between the Raiders and Chargers. Actually a good game. So, Josh, I'll talk with you about that. This one, I mean, because we always need to figure out sort of the game script going into a showdown like this. This game script's kind of telling us, Chargers defense has been good, but for the most part, with these two offenses, this could be kind of high scoring.
Both of these offenses have had amazing starts to the year, especially with Derek Carr looking to return to his 2016 form. He's been absolutely lights off for this year.
Yeah, he has.
And Justin Herbert just outdueled Patrick Mahomes. I don't think I need to say anything else there.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. So is this one? We're expecting, and if I can get the total up here real quick, but I think when we're going to build our showdown lineups, we're kind of going in there with that kind of mentality, right? Of this one. Now, I know the one thing that can get in the way is the Chargers defense has actually been sort of good. And they held Kansas City to 24 points, even though Patrick Mahomes still had a good game, so Derek Carr can as well. But I think we're going in this game with the assumption that this likely will be a game in which Justin Herbert and Derek Carr, they are going to be the main focus tonight.
Tonight, I really like. I think Derek Carr can easily put up another performance of over 380 yards because
it's been so consistent. Yeah. Yeah. So going under that assumption, what's up, Isaiah, my man? Monday Night Football showdown here tonight, Raiders and Chargers. Now, the first thing we always look at captain spot. Now, this is where it gets kind of a little interesting, right, with the captain spot, because I think it's such a limited player pool to begin with. And of course, I think you have to limit yourself even a little bit more when it comes to your captain, because we could talk about the Raiders running backs, and we will in depth on the show, and we could talk about some of these, wide receivers. I get all of that, but it's really a limited player pool. Is a guy like Darren Waller one that we could put in the captain spot, and we should be, just how are you kind of attacking or approaching that one? Because it just seems so limited to begin with.
See, I can never tell anyone to stay away from Darren Waller, as he is an absolute target hog over there in that offense.
He is.
Derek Carr throwing him.
He's probably going to get 10 to 12 targets?
But especially with the Chargers defense, I don't really like any tight ends getting covered by Derwin James. He is one of the best covered free safeties in the league, and that's kind of put me off him for my captain spot.
Okay, so Darren Waller, a little bit of concern there, which obviously it's the captain spot, so any little concern obviously plays a big factor in this. So that brings me to, what are some of the players that you have at least keyed in on? Because obviously the captain will switch from lineup to lineup, especially if you want to mix things up, because it's a showdown, you have to be a little bit different. So what are sort of the few key guys that you have been revolving around in your captain spot?
One of the cheaper guys that I've been looking to is a lot of Hunter Renfrow.
Yes.
I believe
I
think he's going to be the one that's going to get under the coverage and not be stuck by the big guys like Derwin James or the Chargers defense. I think he's going to end up getting 12 targets tonight. So.
Yeah, and look at that, 18 fantasy points against the Dolphins. It's a safe floor too. Because he's getting, the targets have gone down a little bit, but it's very consistent. 5-6 catches, around 70 yards, and the touchdown in week 3 against Miami. This Chargers defense has been good, but it seems like you're thinking that there is going to be a little bit more underneath here in terms of dumping things off. And I think that's kind of the play here. Now, the one thing we do know about the Chargers is, and this might be their way of doing it, but they obviously have been terrible in the middle of their defensive line. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 100 yards, and basically they've been, other than the Chiefs, they have been the worst pass or rush defense in the NFL. So that becomes the big question. Where in the hell are you going with the Raiders running backs? Because we know they may be able to run and should be able to run, but who is it going to be? That's the big one.
I mean, tonight we get to deal with everyone's favorite, a 3-back committee with no idea who's going to get the ball.
Love it. And especially with John Gruden trying to figure him out. Nobody can do that. That's great. Awesome. We're already having a great time here. We're talking running backs.
Yeah. I mean, historically, I know John Gruden likes to run with the hot hand, so I would not be too amazed if Peyton Barber gets a lot more carries than we expect. But with the return of Josh Jacobs, I can see him, Barber, and Jacobs both getting about like 12 carries, if that. So it's just I'm afraid of all their upsides. It's really just gonna be who's gonna be able to fall into the end zone.
Yeah, no, it really is. It's really who's going to get the not even the red zone carries, but the right ones that are going to lead to obviously any goal line carries or ones that are going to lead into the end zone, which for the most part has been Josh Jacobs. Like when healthy, that has been the guy, as you just said, falling in the end zone, which I think is a perfect way to describe which Raiders running back you want. If whatever one does just fall into the end zone today, but that mainly has been when he's played Josh Jacobs.
Mm-hmm.
So is that one? I mean, are people? I guess what we need to figure out too, or try and at least anticipate, is who is going to be in some of these showdown lineups the most. Whether people are going to pivot away from Josh Jacobs because he is coming back from injury and Peyton Barber is the hot hand. But is this one where if he is a little bit less owned, go after Josh Jacobs and just hope he falls into the end zone once or twice today?
If Josh Jacobs has lower ownership because his price isn't as inflated as it's been in weeks past, and John Gruden still does like to pound the ball a good bit, I'm not against taking a shot on him if he's in a lower ownership. But if he's taking high ownership up for any reason, I would probably end up staying away.
For any reason. Because we don't expect at all Josh Jacobs to get 20 carries this game, right? Like that's not the expectation. It is good that he's back, but obviously he's still dealing with that ankle injury, and it's not something that has just gone away. So I don't know. I just don't expect anything too big from him. Now, is this one, and we see obviously when we go to the flex spot, obviously the two highest guys, since this is a Derek Carr, Justin Herbert game. So obviously if we put both of these in and outside the captain spot, it's not going to leave us with a lot. And let's just say put Renfrow in the captain spot just to kind of look at all this. Is there a viable way here that you can build a lineup with both Herbert and Carr? Because I imagine that's what we're going to try and do.
Give me a second. I'm getting into my own little setup right here.
Look at you. Getting all into it. I like it.
I believe there's a way because just the nature of the Chargers defense and, believe it or not, the Raiders' tendency to kick the ball. I kind of like Daniel Carlson tonight at 3,800 for a little bit of salary relief.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
I usually try to stay away from kickers in high scoring games, but he's been putting up the points this year, especially for that money.
Yeah, because we're not. I know last week or the last time we did a showdown, it was defensive battle we were expecting. Or we put in Cincinnati thinking that they might get a couple of turnovers against Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
It is just okay at times, and it didn't work, but it's okay at times to put defenses in. This is one of those spots. Hell no. Not even thinking twice about putting a defense in. No way you're doing it.
I could not imagine it. No.
Yeah. No. So there's no way I'm going to be able to do that. Now we're seeing this as well from our guy Isaiah. Mike Williams seeing 28% of the targets per route, top 10 in the NFL. Keenan Allen seeing 31% targets per routes in the red zone. So obviously, what I think Isaiah is bringing up there, A, that you can get Chargers wide receivers, but also B, that there's a little bit of dilemma of kind of which one you want or which ones you're going to target. Obviously, if you're putting in multiple showdown lineups, I think it's just mixing and matching, of course. But which Chargers wide receiver do you think in this matchup? Because I think you're onto something with the Raiders with Hunter Renfrow. Because outside of Jalen Waller, Bryan Edwards has not been the guy, everybody's kind of been maybe anticipating and hyping up a little bit. He's been fine. Zay Jones caught that one touchdown pass, but Zay Jones has been nothing. It's basically Darren Waller or Hunter Renfrow as your sort of sure hands guy. But the Chargers is where it gets a little bit more intriguing, right? Like where are you going there in terms of their options? Because again, if we like the passing game so much and Herbert and both Derek Carr, obviously they have to throw it to somebody.
Okay. In my opinion, I think Keenan Allen's still gonna be drawing the number one coverage over there, just because he is the number one receiver. But I'm sorry.
Need a cough button. There you go.
Yeah. But right now, like my second favorite captain of the night, other than Renfrow, right now, it's looking to be Mike Williams. I like his ability to stretch the field, especially as a big body target. I think Herbert's just gonna be able to throw it up there, and he's gonna come down with it.
Yeah, are we very much convinced that this role for Mike Williams is just going to continue? Because that's obviously we've been expecting big things from Mike Williams for a while now, and it's not like he's been terrible, but he's never really taken that kind of next step that we all thought. Is that happening this season? And is that going to continue?
In my opinion, he's always shown glimpses of this, but he's always been hurt.
Yes.
As long as Mike Williams stays healthy, he can easily be a top 10 receiver in the NFL.
Look at these targets.
I know.
Oh, it's beautiful. But it's not only he's getting the targets. Look what he's doing with them, though. Mm-hmm. He is catching the majority of his targets. He is, at least in that Chiefs game as well, he has been able to capitalize on some really big plays. This isn't just he's getting 9 targets, 7 receptions for 70 yards. These are big plays. He's a guy who's going to catch the ball downfield. And look at that. I mean, the streak's going to end at some point, but obviously, the guy's scoring a lot. He's been really good. So, and that the Raiders secondary is one that I'm not like, it's bad. I'm not going to say like the Raiders secondary is anything good. They should be able to throw. So Mike Williams is a guy we're getting in as well. And look at that. Hold on. Are we maybe looking at a lineup here that is worthy? Like, I guess now the question would be, are you going with a guy like Bryan Edwards and Jared Cook? Would you be comfortable with either of those guys?
In this situation, it's a toss-up for me because I like Jared Cook because he gets his end zone targets because he's like their big body tight end now.
Yeah.
Especially since they haven't had Hunter Henry anymore. But Brian, if you want to go for upside, I would shoot for Bryan Edwards. But if you want like maybe a touchdown, like 7 points, I'd go for Cook.
Right. Cook, you're just kind of chasing that touchdown. You're chasing the red zone targets and then he'll get a touchdown. But like it's been fairly, look, the floor for obviously Bryan Edwards, this is it. It's about 3-4 receptions, the 2 80-yard games. But if you want to go in the middle of that, what you can expect most likely about 3 catches, 50 to 60 something yards for Bryan Edwards. I think that's realistic. So yes, and the touchdown could obviously come. Look, see, that's one too. Daniel Carlson for a little bit of relief, and you're going to get points out of Daniel Carlson. Yeah. It's like he's not throwing up a dud. And of course, with where he's at 3,800. And I know I saw this from our guy Antonio as well, that he was in there you can check out the article windailysports.com. He has a Showdown article up. And one, it's like, you're not kind of living in the sub 1K range. There is none of these guys kind of down here, even Zay Jones, none of these guys they really like Daniel Carlson. You're trying to look at somebody around 3,800. He is probably the best options out of all of these guys. When you look at where his price point at and down and even around there, like I'm not going with the Chargers kicker. As you just said, Carlson, the Raiders rely on a little bit more. Chargers Raiders defenses, I am not going to take in a game like this, especially with the way we expect this game script. And then the rest look terrible. So yeah, I think this is a really good lineup right here and sort of kind of the way we can go as well. Would there be kind of any way else? Because this seems like the lineup that it seems like you're leaning towards. But if there were some little tweaks that you have been making or some of the other players you've been exchanging to make another lineup or to be a little bit different, what are those players? Like, have you been trying Kenyon Drake lineup in? Have you been trying to build a lineup around maybe Peyton Barber in the captain spot? Like, what have you been doing to be kind of really different?
One of the other looks I have so far is having Peyton Barber in the captain spot. Just to try to get away from the ownership and hoping Gruden's going to want to carry that hot hand that he has a historical tendency to do. Yeah,
he does. And Peyton Barber, let's just check out the numbers for Peyton Barber too. Obviously, he had a really, really big game. And still, even what encourages you a little bit, and I'm sure that Josh Jacobs, the injury occurred somewhere around there, but still 13 carries. Like he has been getting the rock a bit. And I imagine after a game like he did against Miami, that you're right. Not only historically has Jon Gruden been riding the hot hand, but I imagine he's worked his way somewhat into the rotation. If it wasn't the beginning of the year and like they weren't relying on Peyton Barber at all, I'm pretty sure that Miami game, and now it might only last for a couple of weeks, but that Miami game certainly gave, I think, confidence in Jon Gruden to give Peyton Barber even a few carries in this one. And that's kind of, I think, all you're looking for, because if he makes, again, advantage of the carries that he has, and Josh Jacobs is still a little bit limited, although available, you're banking on basically around 15 carries that he can get, 50 to 70 yards on it and that touchdown. Like that's what you're banking on. And that honestly would be good enough with where he's at, and you could put him in that captain spot, and I'm sure it would definitely pay off in that respect.
Yeah, no, he's one of my better options tonight. And especially if you want to take a chance on a Raiders running back, it's probably going to have to be Barber for me.
Yeah. So Peyton Barber, as you can see right there in the captain spot, a little bit 10K, but somebody that we are liking for today. What players are you staying away from, or what are you kind of going to caution as well for this slate?
I am probably going to end up staying away from someone like I'm going to stay away from Waller more than I'd like to. Austin Eckler, he scared me week 1, just not getting any targets, but then week 2 and 3 he came back. He's not an option I hate, but he's not a need in my opinion.
Right, you're not going completely after
yeah.
Austin Eckler here.
Yeah, like his last 2 games, his targets have been up. He obviously he catches everything that's thrown to him, but
yep.
Yeah, no. Another person I'm staying away from is Henry Ruggs. Like last week, Tyreek Hill wasn't able to take the top off the defense. I can't see Ruggs being able to do it if Tyreek Hill can't.
Yeah, I still look at Ruggs and as a guy that's going to be very consistent. He's going to remind you of a Tyreek Hill. Obviously, not as good as Tyreek. Mm-hmm. He's not going to have a game like Tyreek had against the Eagles on Sunday. But, like, he is a guy that, I think is going to be very, very inconsistent from week to week. You're basically hoping for the 1 or 2 big plays a week, but that's not going to come every single week. And so far, like, he's been better than I thought, coming into this season. I always knew there was a potential to have a game like he did in week 2 against Pittsburgh. But, I thought we were going to see a little bit more like the Baltimore games early on. So, yeah, one that, especially with the price going up, not a big fan of Henry Ruggs in this one. So here we go. Crazy one of the night. Carlson in the captain spot. Then you got Hunter, Carr, Herbert, Keenan, and Jacobs. Look, that's maybe going into a bit of, yes, offense, but the Chargers, look, let's be honest. And I think Isaiah pointed out here a little bit too in saying that put in Allen for Carr. Bosa sacks Carr more than any other quarterback. But they do have a good defensive line, and the Chargers have had a good defense. Is this one where we can maybe not pivot away from the Raiders entirely, saying they won't score, but hey, it's not going to be as potent. Like maybe they do drive the ball down the field a little bit, but their drives are going to be stopped short more often than not, and this may be a Daniel Carlson kind of day.
That is something I can very much get behind. Like, I'm not against doing a 3-man Chargers stack, making sure you get in 3 of either Allen, Williams, Herbert, and Eckler. Just trying to jam 3 of them in there, and then going with like Bryan Edwards and Daniel Carlson from the Raiders.
Nice. Because we know, I think, right. Is that one thing that's certain is that the Chargers offense is the one that's likely going to have the bigger day. Like, I think we both assume that. And look, I'll check this out too while you're talking about that, because at Win Daily, we have the totals tool that you can check out. You sign up for a gold membership. Description down below for the promo code, and you can get a buy one get one for Win Daily Gold, and again, link in the description. But you can check out the totals tool and you can see what team is higher in terms of where we think the total is going to be. But I think that, Josh, you're kind of under the impression too that we're likely going to see at least more guaranteed of a bigger day for the Chargers and the Raiders.
Yeah, I wouldn't much. I'd give it like 70-30 that the Chargers are going to end up winning tonight and have the bigger day offensively.
Yeah, Chargers right now, 21.86 projected points. And let me find the Raiders here as well. Raiders down to 17. So I think, again, that's kind of telling you, and I think the Raiders are going to be a little bit better than that, but it's just the fact that I think it's along the lines of, like, this Chargers defense has been good. Like, that can't leave our minds yet, that Austin Eckler that the Chargers are just not a good defense, and the Raiders are going to put up, Derek Carr 300, 400 yards. The Chargers defense has legitimately been pretty good.
I mean, if you want to give a comparison real quick, I mean, you also have to kind of like look back in amazement at what Derek Carr was able to do to a defense like the Steelers.
That's true. That is true. Who had a good front 7 as well. And TJ Watt, one of the premier pass rushers as well. Yep. So yeah, that's a good point. Now look at this. Look at the boss man. Like look, everybody takes notice when the boss man's in the chat. Austin Eckler. Now, are you going to roast the boss? And now remember, Jason's the boss around here, so you got to be a little bit careful.
And I mean, I can't say no. There will never be anything wrong with rostering your running back that has 10 target upside.
Yeah.
Ever.
Now, I guess with the Austin Eckler one, because it's going to be a lot. I mean, he's going to be one of the top players, which is kind of crazy that he's the 4th in terms of all these, which I get it. The quarterbacks are going to be at the top, and then Mike Williams ahead of him, which is a little bit kind of weird. but Austin Eckler there, because I think we went with the other one was Hunter Renfrow, which I like. But the couple of options that we brought up were guys that were a little bit more digestible when it comes to building the rest of the lineup. Now, Austin Eckler is the first one here where you're going to kind of have to get a little bit creative. And Carlson is probably one of those that you have to insert in your lineup. You're probably going to either get one or two, probably get one of Herbert and Carr. It's likely going to be Justin Herbert. But yeah, it's one that, you're probably, it works out pretty good there. So, look, if you want to go with the Austin Eckler
that
one.
That is legitimately exactly what I just thought of.
Nice. That is not planned, people. We're just on the same page here at Wendell.
Yeah, no, I have my page pulled up right here. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah, like that. Okay, so that's the way. For going with Eckler, it kind of works out that way in what you want to do. I like that. So I do want to ask, too, a little bit of the betting side of things here, just real quick. Chargers are a 3-point favorite. I'm leaning Chargers, but it's not a favorite bet of mine. And of course, I did well on Sunday. So here, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to take a bet Monday and lose my great day. So are you where are you leaning here? I'm leaning Chargers.
If I was going to have a lean tonight, I'd have Chargers. Even though the Raiders have been good, like they're undefeated. We can't overlook the fact that they're undefeated.
Yeah.
But just something about Justin Herbert being able to outduel Patrick Mahomes, thinking like, there's no way he's not going to be able to do the same to Derek Carr.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I don't want to dismiss the Raiders. They actually they've been good and not just winning game. They've been winning in a great way. So I give a little bit of credit, but I just think the Chargers at home, it's a good spot here for them. Also, Brian, I will bring it up. Yes. The Eagles were terrible yesterday. Hopefully you did. Everybody got Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts into their lineups though. That was potential for a big day. So I'll at least say this, the Chiefs, I have no idea what the heck they're going to do with that defense. But yes, Brian, I have to bring up that was not a great defensive strategy against the Kansas City Chiefs for sure. So I do also want to bring up, because here at Win Daily Sports, we don't just do NFL. We did MLB all season. We got NBA coming up. We had NASCAR today as well. That was postponed, and we cover NASCAR as well. But Josh, something coming up for you. You got something coming up going on tomorrow that we also cover here at Win Daily.
Yes, sir. Tomorrow we have the start of League of Legends Worlds 2021. It is the regional grouping. It's like March Madness, but for esports.
Nice. Love it.
It's all the top teams around the world that go into one best-of-1 tournament. And over here at Win Daily, we're going to have content for it just about every day. So, yeah.
Awesome. Be on the lookout. Yeah, so League of Legends, esports, we cover that here as well. So be on the lookout for all of that. Who do you main in League? I can ask that now.
I mainly are you talking about like me playing myself?
Yeah, you.
Oh crap! I think I'd have to admit that I play.
What, you don't want to admit that you play League of Legends?
No,
Sorry, I played for a hot minute. I played for like a cup of coffee, and I got my ass handed to me. Look, I stick with the generic first-person shooters, and then I'm absolutely done. So, yeah, no, it is not for me. But.
And I play a good bit of the ADC role when I play.
Nice. That's awesome. So be on the lookout for that. Some esports as well. And I'm leaning on the Chargers side to be more dominant as their defense stronger than the two teams. Yeah, I think I absolutely agree with that thinking as well. So mainly building a trio with Chargers and using them, building around and trying to get some of the ancillary players for the Raiders into your lineups. That is it for us here at WinDailySports.com. Now make sure, again, you can sign up for a gold membership using the promo Double Up. You can get a buy one, get one. That link is in the description below. Also, go to sharp.link because this is all sponsored. Our live streams by the Sharp app, and go to sharp.link and you can get all the information you need, including links from the app stores, whether it's Google Play or the Apple App Store, that you can go on as well. No outages here at Win Daily Sports. We're not Facebook. We're not IG. We're going strong, and we have you covered all the time right here, WinDailySports.com. We'll be back tomorrow doing a little bit of targets and touches, taking a look at week 4. Who got the most targets? Who got some touches? What's real, not real? We'll do all that tomorrow, 5 o'clock right here, WinDailySports.com.